Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois, and this is going to be my review for episode 11 for this season. I think it's episode 11. It is, otherwise entitled A Brief Reminiscence in Between Cataclysmic Events. What a title. But yeah, episode 11. We've only got 4 more episodes after this, which is pretty insane. Now, this is the last episode before a 2 or 3 week break, so we've got a bit of a break between this episode and the next episode. But they ended on quite the cliffhanger, I can tell you that. Oh boy. But of course, spoiler alert, if you've not watched the episode, go away. And this is an episode that you definitely should watch with fresh eyes and no spoilers and stuff like that. It's a wonderful one to watch with no spoilers. So yeah, go watch it, then come back to this video later on if you haven't watched it. If you have watched it, I've said watched it like 20 times already, but if you have, let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. I mean, man, like, what do you think of this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you give it out of 10? Favorite moments. What were your thoughts on that ending? I wasn't expecting that ending. I thought things would go in a more positive direction, but I was like, oh wow, we're heading down that territory. What happens next? But yeah, let me know your general thoughts in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to drop a like on it to show your support for the channel. And if you just like the episode, drop a like for that. But yeah, of course, last episode was the big, coming out of all the controlled people within Smallville. And it sort of like, I've saw people say it was like anticlimactic, but I thought it's just a part of the story, that it reignites Morgan's next stage in his plan, or his plan B, or what could have always been his plan A if this happened. So it reignites that. So we see at the end of the episode that we still have Leslie Law. She's still got her powers. I think she's like fully transitioned, if you want to call it, over to being Kryptonian controlled. Like, her other side isn't there because it was done so long ago. So she's completely transitioned to that Kryptonian state. So she's with Morgan Edge, and we see what looked like to be like his version of the Fortress of Solitude, just like look like the Fortress of Solitude, but in the desert. And that's what it is. We find out this episode that's exactly what it is. But jumping into this episode, we do start off with the teenage Clark, and this is pretty much picking up from when he left in that earlier episode in the season, when he like left on the bus and stuff, and his mum sat on the bench, and they named the bench after Martha Kent and stuff like that. But we see him like first finding and/or like activating, I guess you could say, the Fortress of Solitude, and which in turn leads him to meeting Jor-El for the first time and learning about his Kryptonian heritage and origin and everything like that. But we do have Jor-El just curious as to why Kal-El wants to be a protector for the people of Earth, and sort of sends him back to civilization to fully understand why. But we do see him like training before that, and that training sequence I thought was really cool. I was smiling the entire time. We even get like him flying for the first time, and just like what that emotion would bring, like him just sort of like ecstatic to have his powers. It almost reminded me of like on The Flash when Barry first got his powers. It was a very, very similar type of feel. And I think that's something that like the Barry Allen and Clark Kent, or the Flash and Superman share, is just that would be that like that first discovery. So I thought that was really, really cool. But we did have Clark returning to Smallville, and he actually learns that Lana is engaged to Kyle, but he's been gone for a while. Like you see, he leaves as teenage Clark Kent, he comes back as Tyler Hoechlin looking Clark Kent. So he's been gone for a while, and sees that Lana is engaged to Kyle, and just a lot has happened and I guess changed since he left Smallville. So it's a big thing for Clark, and I think it allows him to freely move to Metropolis without any baggage. I think Lana was maybe some baggage that was there because of what happened in the past. We didn't really tap into it, but I think it was maybe a smart decision not to tap too much into any sort of romantic stuff between Clark and Lana, and just hint at it, because it allows Lois and Clark to be what is the romance of Clark's life, not anything to do with Lana. They can hint at it and say there was something there, but Lana and Kyle are the romance, in Lana's life. So allow Lois and Clark to be the romance on that side of things as well. But we did have Martha Kent giving Clark his first Superman suit, which was really cool. I love that. Obviously, he said that previously in the first episode. But speaking of the first episode, we did have Clark departing to Metropolis, getting used to it. Small boy and small town boy in the big city, be a bit much in some cases. And us seeing his first like shirt rip moment with the logo and everything, or the insignia, and just his first heroic mission as Superman, which was actually the one from the first episode of him saving that kid from the green car. And we even get like a phone booth change afterwards. Man, like they just went, okay, we got this, top 10 things Superman fans want to see. Okay, and they just ticked all 10. They just went, let's just tick all 10 in this episode and just make it one of the best pieces of Superman material ever. I think that's this episode, to me, especially the first half, when it deals with the origin stuff and the memories and Clark Kent as a young kid. I think it ticks so many boxes that it has to be up there with like one of the best pieces of Superman material out there. Specifically the first half. I'd say the whole episode, even though it veers a bit, but I'd say specifically that first half. Man, they nailed it. But yeah, Clark does get a job at the Daily Planet thanks to Perry White through some, agreement to do some extra weekly tasks for Perry White. Now, we do get like the first meeting with Lois from the first episode. They sort of like lead in. They shot new scenes to blend into those scenes they shot for the pilot, which worked really, really well. Like if you watch this on streaming or something and you thought it was a streaming show like an HBO Max, you would think that they shot the entire season at first and then just decided to put those scenes from this episode and the pilot episode just for flashbacks. But they filmed this episode like heaps after they filmed the pilot episode. So, and this episode filmed after the pilot episode came out. So they just decided to blend them together, which I thought worked really, really well. Now, Lois is not the biggest fan of Superman due to him sort of like drowning out what she would consider real journalism as well as real issues. So you have like Superman, I know, just a bit cliche, but saving a cat from a tree, but then you have this dude that's, flamethrowing and burning down minority businesses and communities and stuff like that. And it's actually fitting that Clark assists her with all this stuff. And we see like people getting like front page awards and all these different prizes and stuff for, talking about Superman, and Lois and Clark are there struggling with this story that's getting like no attention. But yeah, they are tracking down this like Nazi who's targeting minorities. Now we have this scene where Lois goes after him and Superman actually saves Lois. Now this character is called Atom Man. They're from the comics. They're from like Superman Saves the Klan as well, some like classic Superman serials and stuff. So he's a Nazi targeting people. In the comics and stuff, he does have like the Nazi insignia. I'm not going to say it just in case YouTube's sensitive, but he has like the Nazi insignia. But they just did like the lightning bolt thing, which is I can't remember what the term is, but they did the lightning bolt thing just like how Crisis on Earth X did it. It's just like the safe way to show Nazis, if you want to call it. But Lois does get the last laugh on him by tasing, which I thought was pretty fitting. But one thing that's weird in this whole scene is that Superman can see someone seeming to like flicker in and out of view and or reality. And at first I thought it was Jor-El. I thought it might have been like some weird thing with Jor-El because we saw Superman go into the Fortress of Solitude last episode. So I thought it was Jor-El. But yeah, we find out it's not. Now, one scene I really liked was Lois interviewing Superman on TV. Like this Superman would be one that would willingly go on TV and just do like a really campy interview like that and just like learning who he is, where he's from and what he represents. I thought that was really cool. And it leads into like, one of Lois's like workmates saying like, oh, Superman's got a thing for you, and Clark and Lois saying, no, I like Clark, that goofy dude, which leads into us seeing like the development progression and just sort of like a montage of Clark and Lois's romance, which I thought was really cool and really sweet. One thing is that they did sort of get into a very like sex scene situation. I don't know if anyone notices, and I thought, oh, okay, this is probably the most risque they've got on the Arrowverse in regards to that. And I thought that's okay, interesting. They're getting a bit more adult there. Now, the weird stuff starts to happen when we get a scene where Clark visits Jor-El and he all of a sudden just like yells at Clark and tells him to leave the fortress, with Clark waking up all of a sudden with Lois being pregnant. It's almost like he's skipping time, and Clark realizes that he isn't living in reality because there's a bit where he walks away from Lois. He's not there, but Lois is still speaking as if he's standing in front of her. So he's reliving memories, and we find out that Morgan Edge is behind it. He's tapped into his memories in order to understand why Kal-El is sort of like on the other side of the spectrum in regards to how he views Earth and its people and everything like that, and why he opposes Morgan's point of view. But of course, like, Clark is just straight up refusing to join Morgan's viewpoint. So Morgan takes it into his own hands, actually destroys the crystal with Jor-El's AI within it. I don't know if we're ever getting that back. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Maybe there's a way to restore it. Maybe another thing from the ship might be able to help that out. We'll have to wait and see. But while all that's going on, Lana, Kyle, and everyone back in Smallville, they're sort of dealing with the fallout from last episode with all the Smallville residents being controlled and being uncontrolled and everything like that. But to sum it up, Jordan gets a bit lucky with Sarah. Ka-ching! Jordan, you finally got there. Ding, 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 ding. Better late than never. However, that euphoria, if you want to call it, from Jordan is short-lived because Morgan arrives at the Kent farm to face Lois and the boys. Jordan does step up, to his credit, but sort of gets slapped down via heat vision. And Morgan's almost about to kill Lois when Clark shows up and actually submits to Morgan. I was like, oh, okay, what's going to happen here? So Clark has to leave his family and go to Morgan's version of the fortress. And we even see like a version of when, teenage Morgan, goes there, makes his own fortress in the desert. Polar opposite, literally. Like you have Clark's thing in the North Pole. His thing is in the ice and the snow, in the cold. That's where his fortress is, and Morgan is in the dry, hot desert. Complete opposites. They really show that, but we see even just the origins and stuff like that, and their first interactions with their fathers. Like Morgan's meeting with his father Zeta Rowe is the polar opposite to Clark. Just through torture, no sort of like history lessons. Just like, oh, I'm gonna just make you feel really, sore at the moment. You're gonna feel pain. Now Morgan brings Clark to Zeta Row and is put through the same process as teenage Morgan was, and this is actually the turning process. This is what makes him into evil Superman. This is what happened on John Henry Irons' Earth, and Lois makes sure to ring John to tell him, yo, I think it's starting. So, wow. Wow. What an episode to leave us on a 3-week break with. I think it's a 2 or 3 week break. We have to wait 2 or 3 weeks to see where this goes. Wow. It's like torture. I feel like I'm being tortured. I feel like I'm under that red beam. I might not turn into evil Superman, but man, I'm feeling some pain right now. I feel a bit sore. Give me the episode, please, next week. Thank you. Please give it. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. This episode, like that first half is like classic Superman. If you love Superman, even if you like him, I don't know how you couldn't just smile throughout that first, half an hour or whatever it was. And then the back half just fueled the story and moved it into that dark space and the potential dread that Earth is going to be feeling soon, or potentially could be feeling. And now John Henry Irons is coming back into it potentially. Man, ding, 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 home run. So good. I didn't even have to talk. I didn't have to say whether I liked it or not. If you actually think I disliked the episode, then get those ears checked, please. Wow. That's all I can say. I'm speechless at the moment. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below. Actually, if you enjoy the video, drop a like. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Are you annoyed you have to wait 3 weeks like me? It sucks. But also it's great at the same time. But let me know your general thoughts down there in the comments. I'm always curious to hear. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.